What D&D alignment should Street Fighter V's cast fall under? We explore all 45 characters, sorting them into categories they'd fall into based on their current status. We also debate some of the placements on how we feel the character's alignment should be viewed. Let's go. People might be wondering what's going on here, and if you're a D&D fan, you recognize the D&D DM screen here. I'm actually going to put this away because it's a little hard to see, but I will keep on my awesome Critical Role hoodie here. Yeah, I'm a huge nerd, and this is the D&D alignments for all 45 characters in Street Fighter V. I'm a huge D&D nerd. I run my own campaigns. I'm a DM. I'm also a player. Hell yeah.
You know, I write about fighting games for a living, and I am inclined to call you a nerd right now myself.
Yes.
So please call John a nerd in the comments because it's what the universe wants. Yes.
Now, instead of psycho crushing the like button, actually, I'd appreciate if everyone gives us inspiration by pressing the like button.
You're such a nerd.
Definitely appreciate. Yeah, see, it's super appreciated with that. So, but anyways, yeah, if you disagree with any of my placements here as well, feel free to leave a comment below. But John, let's get right into it. We're gonna talk about the two toughest alignments to play at first: Lawful Good and Chaotic Evil. Lawful Good is the very pure-hearted person who pretty much only does noble deeds. The example here actually would be Ryu and Rose. Rose was possessed and controlled by Bison. The thing about the dictator here, Bison, is he's the epitome of evil who must be stopped. And Rose is on that holy mission, basically, to take care of him at all costs, even at her own expense of her life, right? And then Ryu, of course, is the main protagonist of the franchise, pretty much never does anything wrong at all, as long as he's in his right mind, not corrupted by the Satsui no Hado, right? He's the main person trying to stop Bison as well as the other villains. These are pure-hearted, lawful good characters. These are like when you're looking for characters who are just like the epitome of trying to do the right thing, and the rest of the cast members who fall in this category, in my opinion, are Chun-Li, Dalsum, Lucia, Minot, Nash, Rashid, and Sakura. They pretty much have no evil bones in their body or aren't going to do evil things for pretty much any reason whatsoever.
So would this be where Judge Dredd would fall, like, or cops, like, because you say Lucia, right? And it's like, okay, I'm just going by the letter of the law, doing the right thing, and I'm not worried about whether or not, like in this instance, technically, you know, we can fudge the rules a bit because of circumstances. It's always just letter of the law. This is why it's good, and we're going to follow that.
That's lawful good.
I appreciate good, you know, for sure. And I want a lot more of it than bad. But lawful good, man, they kind of, I don't know how many birthdays they get invited to, you know? It's like, man, because they're going to tell on you and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's really hard to play that in D&D as well. And on the other end of the spectrum, the other one that's really hard to play is Chaotic Evil. This is the major villain archetype. You see most of the major bad guys pretty much fall into this alignment, and they're oftentimes at least partially off their rocker and crave basically nothing but power and those who can offer it to them. Morality is a thing to be abused and manipulated. These characters care nothing for law and order. And the biggest example of this one would be M. Bison, who seeks to control basically the entire planet and put it under his rule of chaos and power. He's about as evil as it gets, but other notable evil characters, Chaotic Evil: Balrog, Fong, Kage, Nikali, Vega, Seth, and Urian. These are all just pretty much throw caution to the wind.
I heavily disagree with Nikali. I do not think that he is chaotic evil.
Now, he just wants to devour souls and cares not about pretty much anything. He eats your soul. You sure that's not chaotic evil?
Well, I'm not as much of a nerd expert as you are with all this stuff, but my first inclination is that Nikali is more neutral evil. I see Nikali closer to, like, you know, Cell from Dragon Ball Z, which is not nerdy. Assimilate, become part of the perfect form. That's not chaotic. Like, it's more organized, and it's not necessarily lawful, but I would definitely put Nikali hard into neutral evil as I understand this nerdy stuff.
Yeah, I look at him as very chaotic because he's basically roaming around trying to eat people's souls, and he doesn't have much other agenda except for that, to devour our people. But going on to the next one, a step down from the chaotic evil is lawful evil. And this is really close to chaotic evil in that the characters they're pretty damn horrible. They're pretty damn awful, but they actually obey some laws and have respect for a few things. And the main example here would actually be Akuma, who will not kill fighters who aren't as strong as he is, feeling like he should only unleash his true evil ways on people who are strong enough to be a challenge for him. He's still evil as all hell, but he has an odd sense of honor in that regard. And there's only one other character actually who I feel fits into the lawful evil category, and that would be Colleen. Who does all of Gil's evil deeds, but wouldn't cross him under any circumstances. She obeys the law of Gil, and that's it.
Dude, we never think of Colleen as evil, do we? Or do you?
Yeah,
when you see her, because she's
evil.
like, I agree with you. Yeah, she's the secretary of the devil or whatever. But like, and which is cool. I wish they would explore that more, because I'm always thinking of Colleen as like just her, I guess, her ice powers and like the flowing grace and her music. Not much about that on the surface says daunting evil presence, but you're not wrong. It's just this is wild to me, because I never think about her in this, and I think we could, and I think that like there's a whole other part of her personality that Capcom could like hone in on and use here, and expand upon, because it's always exciting going into like, oh, what's the potential of their evil and such. It's like,
Yes.
But yeah, Colleen, I hadn't thought about her like that, but that's a good point.
Yeah. So next alignment up is chaotic good. And this is someone who may break the law, but does it to serve the greater good overall. A good example of this actually would be Guile, who's in the military, but he does not always follow orders there. He's on the edge of killing Bison, for example, after he defeats him in the Street Fighter 2 ending, but he shows restraint because his wife and daughter ask him to do so, right? He's about to kill someone, which is definitely not a lawful good act usually, but he also goes rogue to find his friend Nash, who got betrayed by the military. He actually talks Luke into leaving the military service before his time is officially up, feeling in his heart that it's the right thing to do for Luke's benefit and where he's kind of going overall. He's not fully good. He's gonna kind of throw some chaos into it. That's kind of how the chaotic good characters work.
I hear you there. I hear you. I guess he fits in there, man. So I want to go like lawful good for Guile, because yeah, he's in the military and all that stuff. And
anyone who will kind of betray the law and betray the order they're in, kind of at a moment's notice because it fits what they think is the right thing to do, that's a chaotic good person. They're willing to kind of a Robin Hood type of rob from the rich and give to the poor. So it's but the other characters who fit that are Alex, Blanca, Ibuki, Ken, Laura, Oro, and then Rainbow Mika. So,
okay, all right.
Yeah. All right, getting into it next week, we have the neutral alignments. And this, it means they often offer shades of the other stuff we've talked about, but they're not as hardcore like all around. And this next one is neutral evil, the one that you thought Nicole fit into.
Yeah.
So neutral evil is still evil, but it's not bad to the bone. You'll probably find some redeeming qualities for these characters, but their overall slant is towards doing what's beneficial for them. They're not too worried about how that impacts others. The big example I have here is actually Poison. She partners up with Hugo, and Hugo's like the hill wrestler, the bad guy, he kicks the crap out of most other people. Well, Poison's the manager who sets up his fights and rigs things in his favor. Like if Hugo's about to lose, like Poison's gonna throw him like a weapon or something like that, and have him like hit the other person with a chair, right? And she was also a member of the Mad Gear Gang. However, she still talks with the good guys like Cody and Lucia and other stuff, and probably wouldn't be totally comfortable aligning herself with someone like M. Bison, right? She's not like just awful. She's just like mostly out for herself and what benefits her. And the other characters that fall into that would be Abigail, Birdie, Gil, and Jury.
First of all, Paul Heyman comes to mind, which is a wrestling reference, which I wouldn't expect you to get because you're a nerd, and wrestling is not nerdy in any way. But so wait, Gil is a neutral evil.
Yes,
he's not lawful evil.
The thing about Gil, in my opinion, is he steals Dudley's car, but he never goes out of his way to actually kill anyone or destroy them. He's trying to create a new utopia, a new peace on Earth under his rule and under his guidance. It's not necessarily overtly evil. He doesn't go out of his way just to murder someone or something like that. He's just trying to bring things under his rule and under his control, by maybe less than altruistic means. Definitely less than that. So yeah, definitely kind of walking that line, skating that line, and that's, I would not put him under the lawful evil category, because again, he doesn't go out and murder people like Akuma does. So murder them to sleep. You know, so.
Yes, murder them to sleep. Kuma doesn't do it either, but okay. So you have linked up, which I've seen this before because it's a really effective chart for this. But like the whole chart of like lawful good to chaotic evil, and they show you pop culture figures for each one of these, with a little quote either by the characters or about the characters that really exemplifies the thing, right? And you sent this to me, and I've seen it before because it's effective, right? So pretty worthwhile reference here for neutral evil, and this is back to the Nikali thing, right? For neutral evil, we have the xenomorph from Alien as the character, right? So it's not like high level thinking and considering and stuff, right? It's just like this beast that goes and consumes. And for the description, it says, and put Nikali in your mind while I read this. The perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility. I admire its purity, a survivor, unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality. That's Nikali to me, man. Like I know I'm dying on this hill, but
I'm all in for xenomorphs being chaotic evil because they don't care about anything but killing and just procreating and all that kind of stuff, creating more of them out there.
I think they
have
create
no
chaos, but it's not their motivation.
I don't know. They just look to kill. That's every xenomorph I've seen. They just kill. They kill everything in sight. That's all they do.
Well, I think you are just kind of stereotyping xenomorphs now. So.
I apparently am. So I'm xenomorphic or whatever, right? So next up we have.
I think it's xenophobic.
Next up we have neutral good. And they don't care a ton about law and order, but they generally prefer to do the right things. And Cody is the example here.
Yes.
He allows himself to be jailed, and then later on he took over as mayor. He doesn't always obey the law because he allowed himself to be jailed. Then he broke out of jail, because he kind of got bored of being in there. He's like, I'm not going to stay in here. And he's not always the best of mayors because he's preferring to get into street fights instead of doing his actual mayoral duties he's supposed to be doing, right? So he's not, he's mostly there to do good things, but he's also kind of like, maybe.
Yeah, They did a really good job with Cody because, one, you're right, he's defined into this category pretty obviously, and then they put him in situations where this category this neutral good will interact to an extent, but then will absolutely stop, and you can conspicuously see, right? So like you say, he's the mayor, like he's gonna do good for the city, but if it comes down to it, if what's necessary is to go to the back room and beat the crap out of the dude because that's what needs to happen in order for things to progress, he's not gonna, he'll step over that law easily. But he's a good guy. He's not gonna kill you with your back turned to him, right? He's gonna give you a fair fight.
Yep. So the other neutral good characters are Akira, Cammy, E Honda, Karen, Luke, Zangief, and Zeku.
Wait, you didn't put Cammy in evil?
Cammy's not evil, man.
Yeah, but like in the meta, is Cammy evil?
Wow, she's chaotic evil as all get when you talk about meta and tier lists and stuff like that.
She taught the Joker.
Yeah. Moving on there, we've got chaotic neutral. They don't care a lot about following societal norms, but also aren't actively seeking to destroy others. These characters are generally out for themselves. They may even help others in the long run, and do the right thing, but it's often just to benefit themselves, right? They don't care that much about other people. The big example here would be Dan, who does a number of things to kind of lie, cheat, and steal to potentially work his way to the top, but he's so inept at doing so and ends up being more charming than anything. That's kind of what chaotic neutral characters are, and I kind of look at them like they're not really evil, they're just kind of like an agent of chaos, so to speak, and that would be Ed, Falk, and Sagat.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm really fascinated by these things, but I'm also kind of like, it depends on what part of the character's personality you kind of prioritize above the rest. But I guess that checks out. Yeah, this is kind of the Captain Jack Sparrows, right?
Yeah. And if it was Street Fighter 1, Sagat would actually be a chaotic evil, or maybe like lawful evil or something like that. But he's really progressed over time. Like
that's
he's
the thing too.
Yeah, they evolve. The alignments can evolve depending on what you look at in the timeline. So. And then the last one I have here, even though there's one more I'll get into in a second, but the truly middle of all things is the true neutral alignment, and that's actually just one person, G. Now this could change when we learn more about him, but for now his motives aren't clear beyond wanting to be president, which puts him in the neutral category, as he's technically trying to save the people of Earth. He's not trying to destroy the people of Earth. He is trying to save everyone on Earth from mass destruction and bring them under his rule. But
until we find out that saving them means saving them from themselves by killing them or something like that, right? Like,
there you go.
The excitement for G is that he's in the middle of this chart, and we all know he's shooting off in some direction, and we're just like, where is he shooting off to? Like, where is he going to land? Yeah.
Yeah, so he's there to save the people over. He's not trying to kill anyone. He wants everyone to come and join his side, but we don't know what his ultimate motives are. It could definitely be evil because he doesn't seem to be entirely noble about how he's going about this. He has no regard for pretty much anything existing in our society and other stuff like that. So he's just right in the middle, a true neutral character that really could go either way. If he even allied himself with the good guys at some point or whatever, you could see that happening. Since he does want to save the people of Earth, but why does he want to save the people of Earth, John? So that's why I've got him in the true neutral category. Just somewhere in there. Lord knows what he's going to be here in the next version. So.
Yeah, he's definitely jumping away from this, but I can buy your argument that that's where he is right now because that's all they've shown of him thus far. But there's a huge ellipses after G, so we'll see.
Yeah, and then there's a lawful neutral alignment. I actually didn't have a single character in there. I don't really think anyone kind of fits that, where they obey the law, but they're kind of like neutral overall. Usually it's kind of good guys and bad guys in Street Fighter. So no one in there, and then that wraps up 9 alignments, all 45 characters in there. Boom. I know you disagree heavily already. Just like John said, Macaulay is just completely wrong. Hit us up in the comments and let us know what you think of the list.